Homeland Security says New Jersey is one of 4 states that we're going to look into, they finally admit something that they should have known all along, that they had non-citizens on their voter rolls.
They did.
And that some of those non-citizens voted. So I think it's a sad thing that it takes the President of the United States highlighting what activists in the state have already known. But it's good that the President did that, so now it's going to put New Jersey on the right path.
Now, the governor says her plan is to switch software vendors. Do you think that this will adequately address the problem?
No.
I don't think it's going to. I think this is something that New Jersey has needed to fix for a long time. I mean, all the software vendor does is convey the information to the state. And then the state is made responsible for checking the voter rolls, checking all of the registrations, and making sure that the appropriate people are registered. And like I said earlier, activists on the ground have highlighted non-citizens on New Jersey's rolls for a while. I mean, they knew about this weeks ago. I think the timing of all of this is just interesting. So changing software vendors isn't going to fix a state that is purposely keeping non-citizens on its voter rolls.
Yeah, and I think that when you look at this particular issue, it seems like there is bipartisan support for doing whatever is necessary to ensure the integrity of the vote. So what do you see as the bipartisan way forward on this issue?
Well, first of all, you're right that this is a bipartisan issue. Poll after poll shows that 80% of Americans across the board, Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter, believe that only citizens should be voting in U.S. elections. So this should not be a partisan issue. Going forward,
It's
the
not.
path here is for states to take active measures to clean their voter rolls. And that means using every resource available to them to look at their voter rolls. There are federal resources that have been made available through the SAVE database that blue states like New Jersey are refusing to use, but they should use. The Postal Service has a list of deliverable addresses that they should be using to make sure that ballots go only to citizens that are registered to vote. And then, New Jersey's been fighting, like I said, with the Department of Justice over its voter rolls. There is no information on these voter rolls that the federal government doesn't already have access to in some database. If New Jersey really wants clean voter rolls, they should be using every resource available to them to make sure that only citizens are voting in their elections.
And we saw that the House did advance through the Reconciliation 3.0, the Save America Act portion, along with the other things in that reconciliation. It goes to the Senate. Many observers say it will struggle in the Senate. Do you agree with that? And if so, are there any other paths to ensure election integrity?
Democrats
in
don't
advance
want to
of the
pass
midterms?
it.
Well, I think there's a chance that it is still going to struggle in the Senate. No one understands why, but there are some senators that are still against passing the measures to implement the principles in the SAVE Act. But also remember, this is something that Democrats are fighting against also. I know a lot of the blame goes to a few Republicans, but this is an 80% issue. 80% of Democrats are also in favor of only citizens voting in elections, in U.S. elections, and every Democrat senator consistently votes against the Save America Act or principles to put, measures to put those principles in place. If we are going to have clean voter rolls before the upcoming midterm elections, it's going to be on the states, and it looks like it's going to take pressure from the federal government to do that. I mean, New Jersey is one state where there were tens of thousands, but the president cited California as potentially having hundreds of thousands of non-citizens on its voting rolls. And every non-citizen that votes cancels out the vote of a legal American. The left is going to sell this myth that there's not enough non-citizens voting to flip elections, but you tell which American citizen their vote is not going to count and see how that goes over.
Well, there's a lot to look out for on this particular issue. We appreciate you sharing your expertise and analysis. Josh Finley, thank you.
Thank you.
And how are everyday Americans reacting to the thousands of non-citizens on New Jersey's voter rolls? NTD's Sam Wong was out on the National Mall in D.C. speaking with the people.
New Jersey's governor, she just announced that there were thousands of people who were non-citizens who were registered to vote between June of 2023 and June of 2024. How does that make you feel about the security and integrity of our election?
It makes me feel like that it's not fair. I think only American citizen should vote in the election, and they need to get onto it and pass the SAVE Act.
Well, they're diluting the vote is what they're doing by registering non-citizens. And it's not okay because when you do that, an American citizen's vote is diluted where it doesn't mean what it should be 100% of it.
That will take the citizens' rights away because, you know, as a citizen, you should have the right to vote, but it's a privilege from a U.S. citizen. And I'm dual citizenship. I'm Costa Rican American, and I went through all the process and all the legal procedures to become a legal citizen.
There's been so many voter issues with illegal people on voter rolls, and they've let it happen and stay that way. I don't care if it's Democrat state, Republican state, get them off.
Do you think Congress should pass the Save America Act?
Absolutely. It's crucial to our voting system, making sure that we don't have illegal immigrants that happen to get a driver's license and we're automatically enrolled in voting, which is what's happening in a lot of these blue states. That's got to stop.
Absolutely. I have to have ID to buy a pack of cigarettes, alcohol, pick my grandchildren up. You need ID to vote.
I'm from Costa Rica, and any country, they always ask you for your ID. It's transparency, you know. If you're in this country, you should have proof that you're legal to vote in this country.
I think everybody has an ID. I don't know why they're making such a big deal out of it. You know, everybody knows how to get one. It's not a racial thing. It's not a, you know, it's anything. Just everybody should show their ID when they vote and make sure that they're eligible to do that here.
And Republican representatives are challenging abuse claims at the Delaney Hall ICE facility in New Jersey by calling in expert witnesses for questions. Jason Blair has the key takeaways.
The narrative is that Delaney Hall, and by extension, all of these detention centers, are places of cruelty. It's just not true.
House GOP members confront what they are calling false narratives surrounding the Delaney Hall ICE facility in Newark, New Jersey. The facility was the center of protests and visits by members of Congress in May and June this year as the detention center faced allegations of poor treatment and rotten food.
I was chairman of the prison gang task force, went into every facility in the state of New Jersey. And let me tell you, they wish that those facilities look like this facility does.
300 detainees launched a hunger and labor strike. They described being treated like animals. They and their lawyers reported meals of rotten meat, expired meals, meals with worms in them.
Detainees there are served 3 meals a day and are evaluated by certified dietitians. We're not eating. We're on a hunger strike. We're going to sacrifice. We're not going to eat. What did we find out? I don't know if you all know. No, they were eating. They were given money by outside forces. They were going to the commissary.
One witness alleging mistreatment at Delaney Hall suggests more oversight.
If you want the truth about what's happening at Delaney Hall and every facility like it, open it up to independent, unannounced, uncensored oversight.
Another witness responds to the allegations against Delaney Hall.
The smear campaign against Delaney Hall is part of a broader assault on immigration enforcement and on the men and women in uniform.
Congressman Jim Jordan says the push of accusations against Delaney Hall and ICE are a distraction.
The Democrats don't want to talk about anything other than this is because they want to take the message away from what they've done. Step 1, let in 10 million illegal migrants. Step 2, create sanctuary jurisdiction. And step 3, don't pay the guys, don't fund the guys to do the removing.
Reporting in Washington, D.C., Jason Blair, NTD News.
And the Trump administration says America's trade deficit with China has fallen to its lowest level in 2 decades, but U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer told lawmakers today that Beijing still controls critical supply chains. NTD's Chris Bob reports.
A large part of the positive change in our trade deficit is due to reduced dependence on China. Our trade deficit in goods with China fell to $200 billion in 2025, the lowest it's been since 2005. And China's share of total U.S. imports fell to about 9%, the lowest it has been since China joined the World Trade Organization in 2001.
U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer told the Senate Finance Committee Wednesday that the United States is reducing its dependence on Chinese imports. Lawmakers questioned Greer about China's control over supplies critical to the U.S. economy and national security.
What is the status of current negotiations with China on the U.S. access to processed critical minerals and rare earths?
So we are getting a flow of critical minerals from China. It's not as much as we would want. It's not at the pace we would want, but we are getting them. We're getting the majority of what we need.
Let's go to China. They have placed unfair export restrictions on fertilizer products.
upsetting global markets for fertilizer. What can you do to get the Chinese to remove these export restrictions in future trade negotiations with China?
And they want to control fertilizer for their own use. They'll weaponize it at will. We'll work with them. We have a working relationship with them. We've been able to get concessions from them. So if it's important to, I'll raise it with them, but we should all be realistic about those possibilities.
A separate House Foreign Affairs Committee hearing Wednesday examined China's dominance in global shipbuilding. Subcommittee Chairwoman Young Kim outlined the gap between Chinese and American production.
Today, the People's Republic of China controls over 50% of global commercial shipbuilding capacity. Meanwhile, the United States accounts for less than 1/10 of 1%.
Experts told lawmakers that China's commercial and military shipbuilding industries share facilities and infrastructure.
A single state-owned conglomerate, the China State Shipbuilding Corporation, or CSSC, builds more commercial vessels by tonnage each year than the entire U.S. shipbuilding industry has produced since the end of World War II.
Lawmakers discussed bringing investment and expertise from South Korea and Japan into the United States to rebuild American shipyards. The hearing also revealed that 75% of the commercial ships produced by China's State Shipbuilding Corporation and its subsidiaries are destined for foreign markets. The same state-owned company is the principal builder for warships in China's Navy. Chris Bob, NTD News.
And coming up, Republican gubernatorial candidate Steve Hilton making his first major push toward the November election. He outlined his vision for California during a campaign stop in Los Angeles. Christina Corona reports. And a security incident on the AI front. OpenAI reports that during a test, one of its models hacked another company after the model accessed the internet. David Lam has more.